Are we live?
Yep. Should be. Somebody check.
Okay. Well, you go check, and I'll do the intro just in case we are live. What's going on, everyone? This is the Plagues of the Round Table, and it's not a literal round table, but close enough. I'm freezing. Somebody help.
You're live, you fucking idiot. Just introduce the guests, you fucking moron.
And thus it begins.
V is my co-host with the guest of TechnicalCakeMix, also known as Adam, and the British person, or the Brit, as we call him.
I'm currently live in chat as well, calling you all fuckers.
Good. Now, before we go any further, tell me how the fuck to make this live.
It is live.
I mean, not live, mods.
Oh my god, just right click on my name and the thing and it'll give you options. Or sorry, left click on my name and it'll give you options of modding me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Move! Spawn of Ape! What are you up?
This is fucking beautiful. Like, I wish I could have this on my phone. And I'm trying. No. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Adam. I make game review content. I make fun of everything and everyone in my content normally, mostly myself. I was here last week.
There's a lot to make fun of there.
And I'm Zach, and I mostly exist.
May the gods help me. I am coming for you, Aya.
This is true. It's a really pitiful existence. So,
alright, so I guess you have some topics you want to cover. Why don't you introduce them, Sky?
Net Neutrality!
Yes, isn't the vote tomorrow?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Alright, so has there been any major updates on that?
Not really. It's a lot of people.
They've been pretty quiet on it.
I did see a tweet going up earlier that Battle for the Net.com has had about 1 million unique hits in the past 24 hours, and people they've made, I think it's like another 1 million phone calls to senators, and we're seeing now where Republican and Conservative senators are now coming out in favor of net neutrality, which is quite interesting. I guess they're kind of starting to see the pressure of, oh, this is not a good thing if we pass this. Yeah, it's not a good thing if we repeal the Type 2 regulation, which we've had, which is quite an interesting title. I mean, you guys familiar with Type 2 at all? And what it basically says?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any listeners here who don't know what Type 2 is, I know Sky does, but I should probably cover it in case anyone does. So Type 2 regulations, what we currently have in the United States on our interwebs, and basically what it says is that nobody can regulate the internet. It's the same way with water and power. You know, if you poured a glass of water and then decide to drink it, you know, it'd be ridiculous if you were charged extra because you decide to water a plant with it. Same way with the internet. You just turn on your internet, it works. You can't be charged extra because you access Netflix. You can't be charged extra because you went shopping on Amazon. You can't be charged extra because you decided you're going to go, you know, and you're going to go and watch third-party content through Comcast app. You have Verizon.
And they also can't judge what type of porn you watch. Figured I had to throw that one in there. And sending a tweet.
Yeah, but basically that's the idea of Type 2, and the reason why these companies want it repealed is, I'm guessing they just want it's two things. I think it's a control thing. I think it's straight up they just want control of the service. And the second thing, this is just myself thinking, these companies aren't inherently, they aren't inherently evil necessarily. They're definitely greedy though. They're absolutely greedy. And my thought is that they are likely doing this because a lot of these guys, Verizon, Comcast, Time Warner, background is in cable, and I saw an interesting statistic that most millennials don't actually have cable. So like only less than 30% of millennials have cables in their home.
Cord cutting is a really popular thing.
I was going to say they watch Netflix, particularly Hulu, Amazon Prime. If you're into sports, there's a yearly NFL app, there's a yearly NBA app, there's a yearly NHL app. There's a yearly, you know, this, that, and
Yeah, we get it. It was a yearly sports thing.
And even let's say, for example, like me and my wife, right? So we have both Netflix and Hulu. We pay, I think, $10 roughly a month for each. That's $20 a month, right? How much does my mother-in-law pay for cable? About $300 a
say about 200, 300.
About $300 a month, and that's before anything else. That's why people don't have cable. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is they're basically looking for a way they can find a way to charge you extra. It's a little cynical, yes. It's a little bitter, absolutely. It's greedy 100%, but I suspect that's what it's about. And if you need me to back anything that up, obviously that's just a theory. However, the gentleman who wrote this new bill to repeal net neutrality used to be Verizon's top lawyer. So it's a little bit of cronyism there. The good news is that more and more people are pushing against it. We're seeing a lot more pushback from politicians. So with luck, we should be okay. Hopefully tomorrow. It really depends. I don't know how this is going to go. Because the way to look at Type 2 is that people argue that, oh, it's a government regulation, it's bad. Some things should be regulated, I'll say that. Some things should not be regulated. You can't just, bluntly apply a broad brush to both. I think the internet, we can all agree, is something that should never be regulated by anybody. Thus, Type 2 makes perfect sense. There's a reason why we have this Type 2 classification. And I'm sorry, I think I kind of steamrolled that entire topic there.
Yeah.
Zach, Sky, have you got anything to add to that? I was like, I'm to be quiet now.
No, you covered it
that
pretty well. I couldn't top that if I tried. Good job.
That was very thorough. I was just shooting people with a bow. Like you do.
I think it does just British voice. It just overpowers like anything else in the room.
But yeah, a lot of people are just like, well, my internet worked fine before 2015. Before 2015, there are countless examples of these companies trying to skirt around regulation. And every single time, they were sued quite successfully for basically trying to block a free market. That's why Type 2 was really pushed for, and that's why it became a thing in the Obama administration, because they were so fed up of the court system being clogged up with these nonsense cases that are always getting beaten back down to earth. Ajit Pal's suggestion that these companies would happily self-regulate is nonsense. You look at AT&T trying to block FaceTime in 2010 because they didn't like it, the fact they had to go against a competitor server. Verizon tried to block tethering apps on the Google App Store because it competed with their $20 a month service. It's not a free market if you give these guys control.
It's the opposite of a free market. The paid market.
And it makes me laugh whenever people real people are genuinely for getting rid of net neutrality. It makes me sad.
But without it, they might not be able to say it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. And what's kind of interesting to me is that they're trying to say, oh, this would be great because it would stop Twitter from silencing conservative voices.
I fucking won't.
But to say, if anything, it kind of gives.
It is good to see Egyptians come back.
Well, the reason to try and control the space.
It has been quiet.
I'm sorry, I get so annoyed about this topic because it's so self-defeating. Like the only people who benefit from net neutrality being repealed will be maybe
fucking billionaires.
About to say billionaires and a handful of investors on Verizon's
billionaires
board. Yeah, so and it would be detrimental to all the other millions of us around the fucking world. And
it wouldn't just affect the United States; it would affect everywhere because a lot of servers. Exactly.
Every service you use, Google, Microsoft, Bing, Bing, but Amazon, so on and so forth. Guess where they're based? The USA. And there's also such a thing in the world known as the ripple effect when it comes to politics. Now, with the ripple effect, basically
one place it goes into effect in another.
Exactly, and that was the big problem everyone had with Trump's Muslim ban because they were scared the ripple effect was going to happen there. And chances are, you're used to trading and acting one way in the biggest market in the world, you're going to expect it worldwide, and that's what scares people about this. Because a lot of these companies, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, are international companies. And that's just scary as fuck. absolutely horrifying to think about. You look at countries that don't have net neutrality, places like New Zealand, where the internet is broken up into packages because they can do that. You got to pay, I think, it doesn't sound much. Like, oh, I'm only paying $40 a month for my basic internet. Yeah, we got to pay another $10 a month if you want to access a social media sites. You got to pay an extra $10 a month to have the right to access Netflix.com and Hulu and YouTube. It's
plus another $10 for Netflix.
And you suddenly realize how they're trying to break it down into fucking cable-style packages. And why would they do this? These people own cable companies. Have you ever tried watching
cable on the internet? YouTube is actually making a YouTube TV.
Yes, I saw this. I'm actually very down for this. It's only like, was it like $20 a month, $30 a month? But you get.
I think it's 35.
That's not bad. Still, that's still not bad.
And it actually might solve one of my problems.
Yes.
My mom and dad are the main reasons I have not got Wi-Fi. I have tried to tell them you don't need cable because they like to watch sports. I don't. I hate sports. YouTube TV has every fucking sports network that they would ever fucking need. It has ESPN, CBS, and all that other bullshit.
Yes. The other thing as well is you can cut down. Like Verizon does offer like I think it's an internet only package, and you have cable internet, right? Just regular internet.
I have no Wi-Fi, no internet. I have no cable. I have my phone, and that's it.
So you don't need cable to get internet, depending on the provider. But yeah, like even Verizon and Comcast, and I granted the two big evils, they do offer a Wi-Fi, an internet-only package, which is just the internet, not even a phone line, because you don't need it anymore. The way since we've moved over to a fiber system, Viracall actually changed how it wires back to the home hub. But I digress. My initial point was, though, was talking about cable, was that these people obviously are so used to breaking up cable into packages. I think anyone who's ever looked at a cable menu will see that, oh my dear God, how much am I fucking paying just to get the channels I actually want and 1,000 I'd never goddamn watch?
Exactly.
Well, welcome to how they want to treat the internet, and that's why it's a problem. So it does get on my nerves a lot, just because you kind of sit there and it's just... It's stupid. And Sky, stop twiddling with your cable.
You're dildoing again.
There you go.
I'm trying to do something real quick. I'm sorry if my mic cuts out a little bit.
It's not the cutting out thing. It's that you sound like a horny mum at an Ann Summers party. There's a joke like 10 people will get. Oh, dear. But yeah, that's why this stuff is so important, and that's why you see a lot of online creators kind of standing up for net neutrality, because their livelihood kind of depends on you getting YouTube at the full speed.
Exactly.
I mean, have you ever tried to watch the Verizon On Demand through the Verizon set-top box? It is so crappy. You get a very limited selection. It kind of rotates week after week of what you can actually get. But the 9 times out of 10, you'll try and watch something, and the bit rate is so bad that it kind of flakes, and it's awful. Imagine if that was the only option, because YouTube would only buffer, 144p at best.
I live that hell after I go through 22 gigabytes in a month. After 22 gigabytes, I can barely watch a 144p video.
So my recommendation to everybody is to get a VPN. No serious thing with Type 2.
I wouldn't tell them that, because some VPNs are fucking malicious. You need to find the right VPN.
Avast offers a fantastic one. I recommend Avast. That's another thing, though. If you do use a VPN and you are hoping to use it after tomorrow, should net neutrality be repealed, chances are that Verizon, Comcast, and whatnot would go after them, because they would have the right to go after anybody who basically infringes on what they would deem their property. Now, free and open internet allows you to use the internet. We have a free and open market as a result. Taking away that free market is a horrible idea, considering the internet is how nearly all of our market operates now. Worldwide. I'm sorry, I keep getting frustrated.
It's a topic you should be frustrated about.
And there's so much deliberate misinformation. Like, I'm still going to go on Facebook right now, and he's kind of mentioning, oh, you can't charge, because ISPs aren't allowed to charge the monster data that Amazon, Google will not use. And I'm like, no, that's not how that works. The data the ISPs have to handle is connecting to Google server, where the monster amount of data is actually stored. They're just handling the back and forth. They're not handling anything major. So, no, it doesn't cost them really much of anything.
except for Google.
Yeah. So just what's kind of like.
Which when you can wipe your ass with $500 bills, you really don't have any worries in the world. So I know that's a really strange metaphor, but just think about it for a second and it'll come to you. Do you want to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, sure. So
you all pick the next one. I'll just...
You're the host. Yeah. You're the host. You get the choice, man.
That was my way of saying I don't have my list in front of me. Fucking talk about something.
Oh, then let's talk about the top 5 video games.
Let's actually talk about professionalism.
No, that doesn't exist here.
What the fuck is that?
Professionalism doesn't exist here.
Oh my god. So, actually, there's when we can kind of lead into speaking about the internet and Type 2 and throttling and whatnot. Wasn't there something about the YouTube guidelines that was updated? Or that we finally know what they actually are now? They're not as vague anymore. We actually have
the demonetization stuff. I posted it in the Discord chat. If you wouldn't care to start at the top and read them down.
Because I had a quick read through it. I mean, I remember a year ago when... I mean, they've been in place for a couple of years, so just haven't really had to be enforced because there wasn't really a controversy. It was more just there in case there was a controversy, like, the Wall Street Journal's manufactured one. But yeah, about a year ago, we saw these... I hate using this word after Net Neutrality. We saw these regulations from YouTube on what is and isn't advertiser friendly. And they seem pretty... The problem was they seem super broad just by their definition. But now, I'm not sure how Sky we've gotten this from, but basically somebody looks like has leaked out the actual breakdown from the YouTube Hero side, from the Google side, and actually kind of breaking down individually what is and isn't okay under each rule. And I mean, I've read it and it actually seems pretty reasonable, if I'm honest with you. I know most people get hit with the bot, it's the big yellow sign. If they appeal, they nearly always get it back. Unless they've done something stupid. Usually, if they don't get it back, they've done something stupid. Or it's just a very strange day because they kind of go back.
But how do you define, for example, the demonetization thing where if you swear too much? What is excessive swearing? Excessive profanity?
They actually do go into that, don't they? They say, where'd it go?
If that's the reason my videos are getting fucking demonetized, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna stop saying fucking just because.
Yeah, I'm gonna back off the conspiracy section on this one and point out that the demonetization is not being done by a person; it's being done by a bot, which is looking for certain tags and it's kind of freaked out about. Like my childhood trauma video was recently demonetized and remonetized. I can tell you the reason why the bot found that was because I put tags like phobias and obviously things like that alongside a lot of kids' cartoons. So I talk about Disney characters, particularly the costume ones freaking out as kids. I also things like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck and whatnot, the tags. So it probably looked at it, thought this is likely spam or one of those weird... Look at the tag, it's very similar to one of those weird like Elsagate videos. So that's what it's looking at. It's not looking at your content. If your content is then manually reviewed and they watch it and then decide there's too many F-bombs, then yeah, then they've got every right to do that. But if you look at excessive profanity, does not include profanity at levels and types you would expect to see in a regular TV, including music video and movie trailers. Regular TV is any TV that comes with basic package, does not include premium channels. So you can't go like a full HBO and, just drop F-bombs and C-bombs all over the place. But it's actually kind of reasonable, and in all honesty, like, I get where they're coming from. YouTube has never turned a profit, and they've always struggled with controversy. The Wall Street Journal was the biggest one today.
Turn a profit. It doesn't. I know that's kind of inherently wrong, but it's owned by Google.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't need to turn a profit.
It would be kind of nice if it did turn a profit because then they can invest. Yeah, they could turn it back into the site, and that's the big thing. If they can get a profit and turn it back into the site and make it a better platform for everyone, that would be great. Because a lot of the AI algorithms they're using are pretty damn archaic.
This is true.
Which is, I think everyone's complained about the AI bots, so if they maybe turned a profit and they could fix it, that's not a bad thing. I get that it's frustrating for everyone, and I've been hit by demonetization myself, but if you get hit, it's less about it's less about kind of throwing your hands up in the air and going, ah, it's more about looking at, okay, why did I get hit? What did I do to get hit? Look at your tags. If you feel you're okay, appeal, because I know it says it wants to do 1,000 views in a week. It doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be...
Wait, that's the entire reason I haven't been appealing them. Yeah, I know it ain't going to hit 1,000 views in a week. Yeah, I know it ain't.
I've appealed nearly all of mine. I've gotten all of them back quite quickly. These include videos that haven't got 1,000 views yet, or it looks like as long as your channel's doing 1,000 views in a week, which for me isn't hard, I guess. I get a lot of activity on the old Season 2 videos. But yeah, it's just appeal it, because 9 times out of 10 they'll look at it and go, oh, for Christ's sakes, and then just let it be back. It's not that big of a deal. Stupid. I mean, it really depends on the content. Like, you see some stuff that people are kind of re-uploading the same video multiple times in a day to try and get a different person to look at it when they're kind of gaming the system, which is kind of funny. And admittedly, once you get demonetized, you got to appeal. That's when it gets super subjective.
Yes, you're right.
And that's when it gets weird, because like, these rules seem pretty clear cut, but of course you never know how someone's going to feel a particular day and how they're going to feel. I mean, we've seen this in all sorts of justice systems. It's quite blatantly, it's still kind of a shit show, but at least I get where they're coming from now, particularly seeing the rules expanded upon.
Okay. Now, do you want to go to the top 5 games topic?
I mean, it's not really an easy segue. Speaking of turning,
we don't believe in segues here.
Wow, top 5 games. That's I'm gonna piss
I'm only
you
going
off.
to back up to.
I'm gonna piss somebody off. I said my favorite game of all time is. So I'm just gonna fucking say it's Ocarina of Time, and I know he says otherwise is wrong.
We're talking about like from games this year.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna keep mute because I have a video about that coming up in the next week or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep.
Then you can listen. You can stand. You get to stand there and be quiet this time.
I was about to say, you two go for it.
My top 5 games ever, or my top 5 games of this year.
We'll do this year, and I think we'll do then we'll do this. Then we'll do ever.
This year is Horizon Zero Dawn, and possibly Assassin's Creed Origins. Possibly, I say possibly because I've yet to beat it. I'm actually kind of burnt out on it. Like, it's a good game. It's fucking beautiful, but I don't know. Just it didn't click with me as well as most people don't like Syndicate. I like Syndicate. I did. I really don't see anything bad about it. Origins just did not capture me the same as the previous ones have. And Horizon Zero Dawn, I really don't need to say anything about that. It's just a perfect game of this year. Fight me near Automata, or however the fuck you say that name.
Automaca.
Whatever.
Automata.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told people on possibly my most popular video ever, and that is the Fallout 4 Automaton DLC reaction. I have a fucking speech impediment. Automaton is the closest you're gonna fucking get.
It's not just you, dude. Those are 2 hard words, even for me. I fuck it up all the time.
Just call it Nia. Just call it Nia.
So don't feel bad.
I normally do.
I had a hard time with those 2 as well.
But okay, speaking of that video, I actually liked that video because on that comment section is probably the most savage thing I've ever said. But that's a topic for another day. Go ahead, Lee. Your turn.
I don't think I can come up with 5 just because there weren't a lot of games that I enjoyed this year. But if I had to put one of the top ones, would definitely Persona 5.
Surely your health is worth more than that.
That was a really, really good game, and I enjoyed that. And as an introduction to the Persona series, it makes me want to play the others. As stupid as it is, DDLC was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. For those that don't know, that's Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, wasn't that the thing where these suicide memes have come from?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was looking around, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was kind of reading a little bit, and I was like, oh, it's one of these games. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a good
See?
game.
Even he said that.
Oh
Hey,
no,
I'm
I have
fine with
memes
those.
for days. I'll give you guys some memes for it.
I'm fine with games like that. I actually kind of applaud them because it's kind of nice to see, particularly in visual novels, it's kind of nice to see something which is trying intentionally to, you know, kind of get away from the stigma and just have fun with it.
If you like
It's
that,
aware
then
of
you
what
should definitely play Doki Doki Literature Club. It's free.
I kind of like the idea of a game that it knows what it is in any genre and is intentionally kind of fucking with you
No, fuck
as a
off.
result of it.
Fuck off.
I love
leave
that.
it alone. Yeah, no, it's free. It's on Steam. I highly recommend it. If you play it with the game files open, because wonky nonsense happens.
I mean, I've seen the meme of one of the girls deleting all the other girls from the game, so she's the only.
Well, then you basically know the ending. Congratulations. It's
Hey,
still
it's
a
the
fun
internet.
trip.
It's the internet. I'm likely not going to go see Star Wars till Monday, and if anyone spoils that for me, I'm going to be pissed. But I can tell you, it's going to fucking happen.
Hey,
because-
Hey,
a year ago, I would have actually spoiled it for you. But
See,
I'm
that's
actually
why I'm
invested
seeing it on
in
Friday.
myself.
I would see it on Friday, but I've got to work and.
What is it you think
No.
I should do?
I actually enjoyed the Force Awakens.
I like, I
Yeah.
love the Force Awakens.
Who
It was
stole
actually
the
good.
lions?
All I had to do is be better than whatchamacallit.
But as an introduction to the Star Wars series, it also functions as that.
It was pretty well
I
done.
knew who all the characters was because it's fucking Star Wars. How the hell do you not?
I will find them then.
Oh yeah.
I liked it.
It's actually a pretty good segue into what she brought up, Sky. Speaking of Star Wars, loot boxes are now being invested by federal government.
Yay!
Hawaii's drawing up,
Disappointment.
I
Hawaii's drawing
never
up
thought I'd see
legislation.
the day
Oh my
where
god!
I want the government to interfere with gaming.
I know. and
But
the
now I
worst-
do.
it's-
Loot boxes is a good and a bad thing if done right.
The worst part is it's entirely on the fucking ESRB, who have been kind of anti-government intervention games for a long time. I understand why, but they've completely screwed the pooch because about 8 months ago they declared that loot boxes were not gambling.
I don't
Well,
know.
And they were fucking wrong.
I don't know what
It
you're
turns-
talking about. $2,100 seems reasonable for a game for me.
Oh my god!
I wouldn't pay $2,100 for anything. Like that, I'm probably gonna move on to in 5 hours.
I don't think you guys see the value in spending 80 hours to unlock one character. It really built a connection and a sense of accomplishment.
I think the worst part is the game itself isn't even that good. Nobody bothers going for the goes to the objectives. They just focus on kills until the timer runs out, because that's the best way to grind out the fucking currency. So
I
they've
feel
actually-
bad for their marketing team because I bet you that dude had an aneurysm that day whenever he started looking at the news.
Oh my god, the mouse is angry. I love the fact that it took Disney to step in to to basically get a soft fix on that situation.
We
Right.
were kind of all hoping EA got their license taken away by Disney.
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know if they will, because there's a lot of money at stake, and it's likely a one more fuck up and you're gone situation. Because there's an awful lot in development right now, and depending on them. And Disney themselves have also obviously got a lot of money invested in EA. It's not just Star Wars games. You know, EA also has the Marvel license. Let's not forget. EA also has the license for a lot of these Toys to Life games. That, granted, Disney Infinity has been kind of quietly discontinued, but they had the license to all those characters as well. So it's a lot more than Star Wars at stake here, and Disney's kind of sat there just like, if you fuck this up one more time, we'll go to Activision.
I've yet to get the smell of crocodile out of my nose. Wonder what skin that Tanner will destroy next.
What's up? Hello?
I heard someone say something.
Yeah, I could have sworn I had V talking and then nothing.
Actually, I think that was Austin.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the mouse is not happy, because anytime the mouse is forced to be looked at in a way that goes against that family-friendly image they have, that's when they start handling people in very non-Disney-like ways. That's when the nasty.
That's when they start stuffing bodies into body bags, okay?
Metaphorically.
One day, if we find, I can't remember the CEO's name. I think it's Andrew something. And Andrew Wilson. We find Andrew Wilson's corpse in like a river one day. It's Disney who did it.
Aye. But yeah, they are infamously very tough on people who kind of screw them over. So I
wanted to say Andrew House, but I think he's the PlayStation guy.
Yeah, Andrew House is the PlayStation guy. He's the guy who kept looking at Kojima during the initial Death Stranding announcement like he was just completely in love with him.
Well, I actually really like Andrew House. He's always been
he's a better
likable.
Fit. He's a better fit than what's his face, the Alex Jones lookalike they used to have at E3 every year. Everyone knows what I'm on about as soon as I say Alex Jones lookalike. What was that guy's name? I completely forgot.
Mark
his name.
Cerny, I think is his name.
Oh my god, they used to wheel out every E3, and I was so worried that he was going to have a heart attack from the 6th steak he'd have ate. You know the guy I'm on about. Oh my god.
Is it the fat dude with blonde hair?
Yeah,
I don't think that's Mark Cerny. I think Mark Cerny's the skinny dude, brown hair.
No, it's the big dude who used to come out. Like, he had like a New York accent.
I can't remember his fucking name.
He had like an upstate New York accent. I forget the guy's name, but he was on the thing. He was the guy who obviously got booed to absolute death when they announced PlayStation Plus E3 a couple of years ago. Well, a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago now.
Which, when you look at it now, it's integrated into PlayStation so hard you would have to have a fucking big piece of equipment. I can't even think of a big piece of a fucking crane. Crane. Yeah, thank you GTA for putting a crane right smack dab in front of me. A crane to get it out, because PlayStation Plus is you use it for online, cloud storage, and like 3 other things now. Plus you get some, in quotations, free games.
Oh, yeah, about to say, I must admit, the game selection on Xbox is not ever as good month by month, but the fact they're actually to keep them after your Xbox Gold runs out, that's
worth it.
Attractive. See, yeah.
Like, the PlayStation 3 had a really good PlayStation Plus selection when it came to the free games it gave you. It was always super good. Like, you got fucking...
I got Dead Space 3 out of that one day. I love
a bunch of good games for PlayStation 3, but for PlayStation 4, it doesn't feel like they have as many good games.
I'm pretty sure I also got Shadow of the Colossus from it one time.
Might have been an offer for the PS2 version, but yeah, it's definitely noticeable that the PS Plus quality games. I think the last really big one was Phantom Pain. Was a free game on PS4
this month. This fucking month. It's Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, I saw that the Xbox games were a ton better. I think it was like Child of
in 2017. Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda 3, very cool. But Warhammer: The End Times Vermintide was free on Xbox One, which I was like, that's kind of dope. Actually, it's a very, very popular game. It's a good game to give away for free. It makes perfect sense to me. I'm surprised that we haven't had a.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not asking for brand new fucking AAA titles. I'm asking for things that are not Kung Fu Panda.
Well, I'm surprised they haven't done things like Killzone Shadowfall or anything like that free. I mean,
they did a couple of months ago, but that's give Knack away.
Yeah, exactly. Knack one would be perfect giveaway at this point.
I've actually been wanting to buy it, but I fucking refuse to buy it. It's fucking Knack.
I remember all the goddamn jokes about Knack. Oh dear.
Knack is cack.
All those jokes about it.
Yahtzees for birds.
Was it the as they used to be called, the VGAs where Knack was first revealed, or was it the PS4 reveal? Because it was like one of the big premiere launch
reveal, I believe.
Gotcha.
Because it was the launch title.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the only thing you do on PS4, and everyone played. I'm like, this is shit. Oh my god.
Oh, I remember all of the reviews for it. It was hilarious.
Crash Bandicoot, but it's not Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is Crash Bandicoot, especially now that Crash Bandicoot has got a remaster. What the hell is Knack even existing for? Especially 4 fucking years later, they get a sequel.
I didn't even think they sold well enough to even reserve a sequel.
Well, I think the only reason they sold well enough was because when you got the PS4 launch, it was that or Call of Duty, which you we already had. But no, hey Turtle. No, I think the reason why they got a sequel is also because half of that and half because of the meme. We can blame Video Game Donkey for the whole Knack baby meme that was going around for a long time, which is so funny because that was a joke about Knack being fucking terrible, and it was supposed to be this big PS4, pusher. Kind of like how the Order 1886 kind of got the shit kicked out of it. it for the same reasons. You know, it was ended up being not a very good game, but it was being pushed this big system amp problem. Here's what you can do. This is PS4. This is the power of PS4. You know, on the Xbox One side of things, you know, Rise Son of Rome had the same treatment. It's these games always come and go. It's just it's frustrating to see them, but it's always kind of funny looking back at them a couple of years later. Also, why don't you see that shit on Nintendo platforms? The more I think about it, you know, Nintendo will usually launch first with a big title, and then that, you know, you'll never see.
We talked about this a little bit last time, but you want to know why they do that?
Well, no, my point
Nintendo hasn't fucking changed.
Well, my point is they'll launch a big title, but they won't launch like a terrible game. It'll still be good 5 years down the road. I mean, like the Twilight.
Yeah, but that's Nintendo. Nintendo hasn't changed. That's not a bad thing, to a certain extent. They make good games, but it's games you've played 1,000 times before.
I see. The problem is you don't understand. Yes, they make Zelda every time. They make Mario every time. They make this Metroid every time, but it's a different experience every time. Twilight Princess is different than Wind Waker. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are different than Breath of the Wild. Yes,
okay,
it's the same world, but it's also every time a different experience.
As
much as I love Twilight Princess, you have to give it to A Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time.
Well,
those two
the big criticism of Twilight
are their
Princess.
Fucking blueprints.
Well, yes, because then same way Breath of the Wild is now the blueprint for the new generation. They do a generation kind of. So the original generation would be I would argue for Link to the Past, original Legend of Zelda, the top-down 2D style. Then you have the 3D style, and now we have this open world style. They kind of take these blueprints, but the idea is they take a look at each one. They look at each one kind of like a different plate of food, right? And they go, okay, great. Now you could have a burger. Consider Ocarina of Time like a regular burger. What happens if we, replace the bread with, a brioche bun? What happens if we replace the meat with lamb? What happens if we replace the cheese with Gouda? And they kind of experiment with that way. Now, obviously, it works out better in some cases than others, but the thing with the Zelda games is you're going to get a damn good game every time. And yes, some themes are definitely repeated, but calling them samey is very hard to do when you kind of look at how they play, particularly
but you see
how they
where I'm
present
coming
it.
from, at least.
Not really, because you haven't played Breath of the Wild. Straight
I don't
up.
need to.
Yes, you kind of do, because it's the most different Zelda game since probably the original game. It's the least
Ganon.
That is boiling it down to the absolute
Here's the thing,
level.
Sky, I can do that with any game. There's so many YouTube videos and so many YouTube jokes of boiling it down.
I could literally boil every game down. Good against evil, you fight the bad guy.
Like Cinderella, Cinderella, a story about a woman who becomes a feminist.
Fair enough.
Like,
I still stand by my statement.
Like, it's so easy to sum up a game into one sentence.
See, it's incredibly difficult with Breath of the Wild as well, given how much that game basically is designed to give you kind of your own take on the story.
Writers have even found that there are only 7 stories you can ever tell, and everything else is just a different telling of that story.
Yes.
So at the end of the day,
this is true.
Yes, it's all the same characters and it's all the same set pieces, but it's also a different experience in a different world.
Hang on a sec.
I will never forget Wind Waker.
Get him, boy! Get him! Get him, boy!
I will never forget Wind Waker compared to Twilight Princess.
Neither will I. I'll never forget Twilight Princess.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Twilight Princess, admittedly, because it's trying too much to be Ocarina of Time. It's very much trying to be Ocarina of Time 2. It picks up 100 years later.
Which one? Twilight Princess?
Twilight Princess, yeah.
Wind Waker's my favorite. Wind Waker's my favorite. I love that one so much.
I love Wind Waker. I think my favorite is Ocarina of Time because I'm quite literally married because of that game.
And you got the nostalgia goggles?
A little bit. I'll admit there's definitely some nostalgia goggles.
I don't blame you. I've never beaten Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. I do understand that they're both good games. I won't deny that.
But they haven't very well aged.
I mean, Ocarina of Time's
well, yeah,
fine.
no shit. They're 25 years old. Show me the 25-year-old that looks good after 25 years later.
Mario 64's aged pretty damn well. I'd argue Ocarina of Time.
Hang on. I know me and V are high, but are you high? Because you just fucking said Mario 64 is aged well.
Yes, it has.
I mean, I would argue like Super Mario Sunshine's aged well, or
that has aged very well. Yes.
Or like Thousand Year Door. Thousand Year Door's aged well.
But not 64. 64 looks like a bundle of cow shit with a lot of colors.
Look, visually it hasn't aged great, yes, but it still plays phenomenally well, and it's a game that plays as well as you remember it playing. That's why it hasn't really aged that badly. Certainly the visuals are going to age. The visuals are always the first thing to age, but the fact it still
Wind Waker hasn't. Like Wind Waker hasn't aged a fucking day.
Well,
I mean, I disagree. There's
much. I'm about to say we had to re-release the game to get rid of the most annoying fetch quest in fucking history. That game aged horribly in the gameplay department to the point that it had to be fixed with a Wii U update. Okay.
Everyone blows that fucking Triforce expedition thing out of the water. I actually didn't mind that. Well, it made the world feel fucking huge. Because the world is actually not that big.
I agree. I also didn't mind it, but I also wish it wasn't as lengthy as it was.
But
have 2 Triforce pieces in each temple, because then that's 3. That's 3 temples and 3.5 temples.
That was
I definitely feel like the Wii U update was a nice median ground. They had some in the water and then some in the underwater dungeons.
I would say you need to go one way or the other.
No, I definitely feel the update was good.
Fixed that. Oh my god.
That was a good 50-50. I feel like it gave you the capacity to experience the world by searching for the shards, while also making it not too lengthy to do it.
Plus, also the quick sales were the best thing ever. The fact that they had to stop every 15 seconds to change direction.
Yeah, I almost want to get a Wii U just so I can play, because the quick sales look so good.
Actually, the Wii U I have is the Wind Waker Wii U with the Zelda decals on there, and that was part of the reason we got that one, was because we were just like, yeah, no, this is basically fixed Wind Waker, we'll take it. That, and also the fucking thing is awesome to look at. I mean, hell, I have a Zelda Wii U that's definitely collectible at this point.
I really do want to get a Wii U just to play Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. After I beat those 2, I would probably never touch it again.
I would definitely get Breath of the Wild as well to check it out. Just that way.
Fuck! I forgot it was on Wii U as well.
Because there's something which is
3 fucking Zelda games.
The big wonderful. Well, it's a Nintendo console. Buying it for exclusives is actually completely okay because you know they're going to be fucking great. I'd also recommend checking out. I'd also recommend checking out Pikmin 3. And though I'm not a fan of the series, though I'm not a fan of the series, a lot of people really like Bayonetta 2. And of course, they recently did a re-release of it.
I don't like Bullet Hell, and I don't like DMC.
I don't mind Bullet Hell, but I definitely like I liked Dante's Inferno. That was a lot of, or not Dante's Inferno. Sorry, Devil May Cry.
I'm about to say it's not really a Bullet Hell game. It's close to the Devil May Cry. I mean, it's basically just Devil May Cry under the original creator. The reason I
don't like Devil May Cry at all. I don't like hack and slashes.
Wait, you're a fucking Philistine.
See, AJ, you say that until I recommend a game called Lollipop Chainsaw. It's right up your alley.
I've played Lollipop Chainsaw.
Dude, I was at, I think it was MCM London 2011 or 12 when they were demonstrating that game. I went home and just pre-ordered it then and there. That was such a good fucking game.
I don't care what anyone says. Lollipop Chainsaw is my guilty pleasure.
It was my game of the year it came out. It was so great.
What year did it come out? 2009?
2012, I think.
I don't know, but that game is my guilty pleasure.
It's so
I can't really remember any games that came out before 2010 that really stand out in my mind. Maybe Tony Hawk's Underground and American Wasteland.
Lost Odyssey.
Oh, Lost Odyssey is a great
game. Don't even fucking start.
See, you agree too. I've been trying to get AJ to play it. He will not play it. I bought the game for him.
He bought it for me. He bought it for me.
Yeah, it's great. Check it out. It's what Final Fantasy 13 should have been.
I don't like JRPGs. I fucking hate them.
It's a JRPG in the sense that it was an RPG made in Japan, but it's so non-traditional with the format and so very good with it. I thoroughly recommend checking it out.
When I say I hate JRPGs, I mean I hate the combat. I don't mind the story.
Well, the combat's very different in that you actually slightly attack, then you have this kind of run-up.
I've heard all of this before. I seriously, I've heard all of this before.
The only way he's gonna do it is he has to, because he made a deal with me that whenever he gets Wi-Fi internet and he can put videos up on the regular, he's gonna do a full playthrough
constantly.
Yeah, hell yeah!
A full 100-hour playthrough. I promise. But until that day, I'm not playing it because I don't like the combat.
If you guys are familiar with Pro Jared, he actually called it one of the top 10 RPGs not out of Square Enix.
I honestly, it's such an underappreciated and under-recognized RPG because it came out in just a bad time, and not many people know about it.
And when it was kind of too little, too late, when Final Fantasy 13 dropped, you know, they had to put an emergency run of production back out to meet demand because people are just like, oh, they want to play this instead. Yes, it's that good.
That game made me cry many times.
It's so very good. Thinking great games from like that last decade before 2010, Resident Evil 4 comes to mind.
Resident Evil 4 is a great game. Mario the Thousand Year Door.
Phenomenal game. Super Mario Sunshine.
You all remember Pokemon Coliseum?
Yes, I do.
The one on the game. Is that the one on the GameCube where there's the shadow Pokemon and you can?
Yes, but there's also a sequel to it that has Lugia on the cover. Heart of Darkness.
Gale of Darkness.
Whatever.
XD, it's pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good games. The big draw for those was of course the connectivity with the Game Boy Advance versions of the game. But yeah, like there's a ton of great stuff from past decades. I mean, there's great stuff from pretty much every decade that still holds up today. Which brings back my point about Mario 64. The reason why it's still good today is because it still plays the way you fucking remember it playing.
And that's the part that makes the gaming industry this day and age hurt the most. Is we've had years where we've had I have games I will never forget, and it's always a shame whenever you have a bad year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I mean we've had some awful years, more
2014.
bad years recently. No, 2014 was a lot better than the year before it.
Like 2012 and above has just been bad.
I don't know.
What
2016
year did Dragon Age Inquisition come out?
2013.
Okay, 2013. 2013 was abysmal.
Do you want to know how bad 2013 was? The first major release was Aliens Colonial Marines, okay? The only saving grace of 2013 was Pokemon X and Y and Grand Theft Auto 5. Those were the only two saving graces.
No. Wait. In 2013, was that the original release of GTA 5?
Yeah, those were released on PS3 and
then no, I refuse to acknowledge the PS3 versions of GTA 5. They should have fucking waited.
I have news.
They should have waited at least until the PS4. That would have made a fucking amazing launch title. But they didn't.
They didn't because they've been developing it for nearly years on the old hardware. You are aware Rockstar didn't internally handle the PS4 X on the PC versions, right?
Yes, I am fully aware of that. But they still should have waited. Why release something that's only going to be out maybe 6 months, 7 months, 11 months until the next console generation?
Because it wasn't.
PS4 was like, released in 2014.
It was late 2014 or 2015, yeah, because they basically had 2 solid years, that's why. And it makes perfect sense. You want to kind of get your projects off the slate for the last bunch of consoles before developing for the next one. Rockstar takes their time, that's why Red Dead Redemption 2 is only just now kind of being a thing. And we're almost at the halfway cycle through this console generation. We've already seen the console refreshes for crying out loud. You know, last generation we actually waited a long time to see a PS3 and an Xbox 360 Slim and a Wii Mini. Everyone remembers the Wii Mini that nobody bought because nobody wanted them. It was just a little red and black box. It was kind of a neat idea, played your Wii games, but they took out the GameCube back compatibility, which is why nobody wanted to touch it. But yeah, that's why, because they'd spent so damn long on it, working on these particular platforms, and yeah, why the hell not?
Okay,
then the more platforms the game's on, the better it'll do. That's just basic science, you know?
Okay, you're right. With kind of bleeds into the next topic. Why are they charging that absurd amount of microtransactions? GTA Online is a pay-to-win game.
They're charging that much because it's easier to make simple maps and simple shit and add it to a pre-existing game than make a new game in itself.
Well, I think
I know why.
The only real thing you have to pay to win on that game are the vehicles, because the weapons are cheap and it's very easy to get the ammo for those weapons. That's not the hard part.
If you're at least decent, you don't even need to worry. You can kill somebody with a pistol.
But exactly.
Yeah, that's not the point I'm getting at.
Me and wife spent a lot of time playing GTA Online, and originally I'd agree with you, pay to win that you'd have to basically buy money to get the decent apartment. But then the heists came along, and that kind of changed that in the way that it's very easy to get money now.
Now it's not.
It used to be very time efficient, actually. You could get like 100, 200 grand in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, now you can't anymore.
But I say originally it was incredibly time efficient. We made about $1 million
yesterday.
in an hour and a half.
They released a brand new heist after I think 3 years of solid nothingness, except small stuff. I would consider a heist. I liked the heist. I did, especially the final one with the bank. As cringe, and I mean not cringe, as hard as it was. Because the last, like when you're on the motorcycle, I was always the driver. My passenger almost always fucking died because they were too stupid to not shoot.
I should actually pick that game up on PC. I'm currently in the process of buying PC parts and building a desktop. I really should get that game on PC because my wife's laptop really transfer us to PC and carry on that way.
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be a hell of a podcast.
It's
all of us playing GTA. That'd be awesome.
It's a ton of fun. Like, I've got no intent on getting on PS4 or Xbox One. My disappointment with those ports wasn't that they existed. I was fine with them existing. It was the fact they couldn't get a last-gen game running at 60 frames per second. That was honestly my big annoyance. I was like, really? Fuck this. And then the
I have
PC
bought
came along,
GTA 5 2 times, technically.
Same.
But I own 3 copies of it. My sister had a copy. It is now mine. I bought it on PS3. Technically, a friend bought it for me, but I paid him back, no matter what the fuck he says.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it for it at launch on 360 because I think what a lot of it was that year was so fucking bad. Like, you look at 2013 in-game releases and you just cringe. You know, like...
I don't really remember anything from 2013, minus Inquisition, GTA, and that's it.
Well, Pokemon X and Y was actually very good.
Saints Row 4 came out that year, like a week after GTA.
I think the big stinker though was fucking Colonial Marines. I don't think need to go on that topic anymore.
I didn't even know about that. Like
Aliens, Colonial Marines. Yeah, don't. Just,
yeah, no, I didn't know about that until watching the Angry Joe video.
I've done 2 videos about that. But that said, speaking about bad years, I would argue that this year and last year have actually been very good in terms of games. Very, very good.
Very good. Maybe in terms of like a couple of like really, really good games, but in terms of like overall like high number of good games, I disagree. I feel like this has been a terrible year. I can only think of like 4 like, or no. My friends and I like did a whole list of like what are the number of games that this year were good, and we had Nier Automata, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, we had freaking Doki Doki Literature Club,
that's already 4.
Oh god, where was this list?
I mean, do you mind if I add to that list?
Sure. Wait, it's not gonna ruin your video?
Nah, it's fine. Breath of the Wild, Yakuza 0, Cuphead. You already
mentioned
Cuphead.
That was it. Cuphead. What was the one before Cuphead? Because
Breath of the Wild, Yakuza 0, Mario Odyssey, fucking Resident Evil 7. We had a phenomenal Outlast 2. We had so on and so forth. That's 10 games just listed off here, which are all absolutely worth your time. This year has been very, very good. I did forget about it. Sonic Mania. We had fucking...
I don't know about Sonic Mania because I haven't seen anything about it, but I did forget. I forgot about Resident Evil.
Yeah, there's been so much. Oh, Tekken 7 we had. we had a bunch of good stuff. You know, it's one of those years where for me
Maybe
it's very
it's
hard
just,
to work out where to look.
Yeah, maybe it's just because it's had also been such a bad year for like really bad games. Because then we had Andromeda.
Yes, yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think there's definitely been games this year which is the stinkers are always gonna stick out a little bit, like Andromeda, like what the fuck was that big Xbox exclusive that sucked? Fucking no, that was last year. Sorry, the one based on the TV show.
Oh, Quantum Break.
That's the one. That was last year, not this year. But yeah, like, you know, I think to be fair, Quantum Break should be happy that No Man's Sky happened last year.
Oh yeah, No Man's Sky.
Hey.
But
let's actually talk about hype. Now that you brought up No Man's Sky and how hype can be really, really bad.
Yeah, but I definitely think this should be our last topic.
Okay, if that's the case, then let's not talk about that, and let's talk about Patreon real quick.
Okay, that's a huge
and
topic.
how Patreon has reversed their fees thing, where let me just pull up the email real quick, and I'll read the email.
Yeah, I actually just got that email myself a little while ago. What do they even do in the first place? Because that's what I don't get. What do they even do in the first place? Because they were talking about the Hate Street podcast, and I was like, what?
The 2% and 5% that are fees for Patreon and the transaction fees and everything off of the creators and putting it onto the patrons that were actually pledging money, which you don't do that. You don't put fees and stuff onto the pledger. You put them on the pledger.
So basically, they're getting more money out of the pledge than they worked out because
$1 goes to $1.38.
Okay, that makes sense because then they're actually getting more money out the
but the creators are seeing less of that money.
Yes, okay, that makes sense.
That extra 38 cents. Yeah, I don't see any of that.
That's all Patreon. Whereas before you would get 2% of whatever's going. It makes sense. I hate to be the cynical guy, but it makes sense from there because most people on Patreon are making less than what I'm not making anything on Patreon.
I'm making like $22.
Exactly.
That's all for 3 people.
Most people are less than $100. So,
but it can become bigger. You can get into the thousands and thousands of dollars.
I know. My point is though is that there's only like maybe 10% of people on that site who are making more than $1,000, right? So if they're making 2% of all these $100 pledges, then they're only making literally $2 per person. So I guess it makes sense for them because they need to operate. But that said, I don't believe they're that big of a company to warrant that kind of behavior.
Let's say you have 1,000 $1 pledges.
Yeah.
1,000 for that one person that's making $1,000 or more.
Oh yeah.
Say you have 1,000 $1 pledges. That would fucking
$380. Yeah, they're making $380 off those pledges that way, and then you have just dropping out because you charge more, and yeah, I can see exactly what was unpopular and I framed it. So I kind of saw what was going on. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then Patreon fucked up.
Yeah, majorly.
Not as bad as the.
Go ahead.
Not as bad as the fuck up at the Game Awards. Sorry to derail that. I'm still in love with the fuck the Oscars guy. Like
that probably was the best thing about the Game Awards.
I've never watched the Game Awards. I didn't even watch them when they were called the VGAs. I'm the guy who will wait until the trailers and see the news and go, "Oh, that's cool." But I must admit,
I'm the guy that was actually watching it.
Are you all bitching all fucking night on Discord? I'm just like, dude, it's a Game Awards show, okay? It's always terrible. It's focus panel shit.
This year, it was fucking horrible, minus the fuck the Oscars guy. I love that dude.
I mean,
the trailer seemed pretty cool. I mean, I watched the Death Stranding one. That was quite cool. I watched the teasers from Software, which was great. I watched...
one more thing. Dark Souls, 2 days away. Come on, Dark Souls. Yes. Dark Souls.
No, it was basically a teaser that they were announcing something coming out in 2018. It was a little teaser.
And then 2 days from now, on the 15th, Bandai Namco is apparently hosting a big-ass event, and Dark Souls Remastered is apparently among the titles they're going to release
Are they actually hosting an event next? I haven't heard anything
The
about
horrible
Yes,
part of me wants you
sure.
to be wrong, just so I can watch you suffer.
Well, motherfucker, I hope you die in a fire.
That's likely.
But the other big thing I saw was Bayonetta 3 was announced.
Yeah,
It's 420!
my friend sent me sent me a thing letting me know about that, which I also had to let him know that I've never played a Bayonetta game, so...
What I thought was so funny was the same thing that happened fucking last time when Bayonetta 2 was
AJ!
announced. AJ!
Sorry! God damn it.
What amused me so much was that they so anyone remembers when Bayonetta 2 was announced, there's an awful lot of ringing and screeching that it wasn't going to be on PS4 or Xbox One, where the quote-unquote hardcore gamers are. Well, that game, from what I understand, quite well on Wii U. And the reason why it was on Wii U and wouldn't be on anything else is because Nintendo
fucking bought it. Exactly.
Paid hardcore cash for it. They're allowed to do that.
It's their IP now, basically. I don't see how people expected anything fucking different.
So it's kind of funny now seeing Nintendo happily funding Bayonetta 3 and they're doing the same shit, and I'm like, guys,
stupid.
Like the very
you want to play the game, get the console.
At the very least, Nintendo would push it on PC.
Or just wait for the, or just wait for the PC port.
Well, the Bayonetta 1 came to PC. However, Sega has control of Bayonetta 1's licensing and gets the final say on it. Bayonetta 2 is in Nintendo's control in terms of publishing, so we up to Nintendo.
That would be like Fable coming to PlayStation. Which, yeah, by the way, I would fucking love, but it's never going to happen.
Fable is a terrible example, because Fable's already on a console and the PC.
I was actually going to use the example from Microsoft of Viva Pinata, because Viva Pinata is an IP they're very lax with.
I love Viva Pinata.
Besides it being
I've never found another person that actually likes that game as much
I love that
I never really got the chance to play it.
But back on my point now, the Viva Pinata has obviously the Xbox 360 version, a PC version, but it was also on the Nintendo 3DS. And
it also got backwards compatibility on the One.
The point about the DS version, though, was it was licensed by Microsoft, published by Microsoft, released on the DS. Obviously a Nintendo platform. So it can happen, but it's very weird and extreme circumstances to make it happen.
Battle Royale is another good example of that.
Microsoft likes to launch things on handhelds because I don't believe they have any intent of getting into the handheld market, and especially since the Vita failed, why would they get into the handheld market? So if you really want to see on anything, you have to convince Nintendo that the PC market is a good way to go. I doubt they will, though, because obviously they put a very high value on their IPs. They put a very high value on their property, so I don't know. I don't see it happening. I say that, though, as in China right now, they've launched on one of their Shield TV kind of knockers out there. They've launched some Wii titles and Wii U titles on there. So who knows? Who faggin' knows?
And on that note, I would like to take a vote to end the fucking podcast because I really have to go to the bathroom.
I would agree.
Professionalism from these two, I swear. What are you going to do without me next week?
Cry.
Next time when I'm at work, you're going to have anybody to carry a topic. You're going to have to get somebody who can fucking talk for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is why I'm the regular guest, not a fucking co-host. I go crazy with you.
Okay, but anyway, let me do the outro and then we can end it.
Have fun.
This has been the Plagues of the Roundtable with V and Adam from TechnicalCakeMix. His shit will be in the description below. That's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. Check out my Patreon, please. Please, I'm starving.
He is starving.
Yeah, for attention. I'm kidding. I don't give a fuck. That's all, folks. Peace. We're out.